Hello everyone, I am Satish and today I am going to talk a little bit more about my UiPath agentic, submission, which is a UiPath coded agent on logistic industry, which basically talks about and take care of LTL shipments which are lost or which are damaged, and then there is a claim has to be done for those losses, right? So a little bit about me. I am, RPA solution architect working in the RPA industry for almost 7 years now. I have done a lot of UiPath RPA automation, slowly transitioning into the agentic automations. Talk about why LTM claim process must transform, right? And what is the challenge? What is the bigger picture here? Why we are trying to solve this problem? If you talk about US market alone is a 90 billion plus LTL market, and there are a lot of uh, issues that has happened in the last couple of years due to raging claim volumes due to the tighter freight margins, right? 80% of the 3PL or a brokers or a shipper, they still rely on a manual claim workflow. And out of all the freight movement that happens in all those lower 48, 5 to 10% of all ATL shipments get damaged or lost or shortage, translating into hundreds of millions of amount being lost and claimed every year. If we talk a little bit more about a typical life cycle of a claim, how it happens is, first you need to submit a claim. That means you have to initiate that claim, and the acknowledgement has to come from the courier, or if you're working with a 3PL, it has to come from 3PL. Then there will be steps to validate all the documents, right? Bill of lading, proof of delivery, invoices, and whatnot, right? It has to be validated, and inspections report also need to be submitted, and there are certain guidelines given by the Department of Transport from the US that need to be followed, and there are a couple of acts, especially the FMCSA 49, which talks about how the claim has to be processed. Then there is also another twist or tangle to it, because many time when you book LTL shipment, that means you are not booking a full truck, but you are booking a part of a truck where your shipment will be carried with the other parties, right? So there are cases that carrier is not be liable for any damage because the packaging that you have done is not enough to hold, or not sturdy enough to hold the other shipment on top of your shipment, right? So there are a lot of uh, features and reporting, and then liability, and then assessment has to happen for the insurance and the liability assessment, right? And then obviously there are frauds. Even if your shipment is delivered accurately and safe, still people are raising concerns and raising the claims about the fraud, right? So it takes typically 30 to 40 minutes every time a claim has been received into a system, and then end-to-end processing has to happen for that particular claim. So what I'm trying to solve here is, I'm trying to showcase and have built a solution which is completely based on UiPath ecosystem, right? There is a UiPath front-end portal that I have built with the help of React, and recently UiPath has also launched TypeScript SDK. So I have utilized the TypeScript SDK to create a claim submission portal. There, as a shipper, you should be able to submit the claims, right? If so, you need to just tuck in some shipment informations. You have to upload the document, and once you upload the document, right, it will be stored into UiPath storage bucket, and then also it will refer the policy and the guideline with the help of context grounding. So if you look at the center of this solution is a LangGraph multi-agent system, where I have 4 agents, which is orchestrator agent, document processor agent, risk assessor agent, and the compliance validation agent. This agent works with the different models due to their specialty, and we should be saving also some dollar amount. But on a very high level, they have access to a lot of tools, right? And with the help of those tools or a specialized tool, they will carry out the task that is required for their operations. Like document processing agent have a tool which will download the document from the storage bucket, and also it will call the IXP to extract the information from those documents to determine the damage and the loss classification, and it will also extract the information from data fabric to understand that the claim that is submitted by you and the claim shipment detail on the document exactly matches or not, right? And in this agentic solution, we have also designed in such a way that there is a human in the loop, and if something goes wrong, human would be there to approve, reject, and give the feedback. And it is a react system, so every time you give a feedback, it will try to plan, search the SOP, looking the context and also the long-term memory to determine what need to be done, and then accordingly it will be processed, and the output will be giving you characteristics like documentation is valid, claim classification is a loss, it was a medium complexity, risk factor is 0, policy violation is no, so it should be approved or rejected, or a human review is required. Flow, which is orchestrator agent, and it has 18 nodes and plus conditional routing, right? So if you look at this agentic flow diagram or the 2B diagram, where I have, so I have basically 5 specialized agent, right? One is risk assessor agent, another one is orchestrator agent, then document processor agent, and the compliance validator agent. And with the help of these 5 agents, they have access to a lot of tools utilizing the UiPath services with the help of UiPath Python SDK. So what we are trying to do here is all of these tools, right? Query tools, search policies, search careers, extract informations, they are nothing but they are interacting with UiPath entities with the help of Python SDK. And then we also have a memory system which is configurable. As of now, I am using SQLite, but it can be configured to the PostgreSQL or any other source where you want to store the historical context and the pattern. And if you look at all of these agents, one thing you will notice here is all of these agents are using different model because they are having a different scopes and the roles and the goals. So every model doesn't fit for its own purpose, and that's the reason for the orchestrator we are using GPT-4. The purpose is planning and coordination, and for the risk, the purpose is risk analysis and scoring. So based on the various parameters and the role of agent, you should be able to define which kind of model has to be used. And real quick, I'll showcase you how real quick showcase you the my project structure. So I have basically this project divided into 3 parts. One is the agent, which is the core logic agent orchestration, UiPath codage agent. Everything sits here, and then I have a backend, which basically is nothing but running some API, which coordinates and upload the data to the the queue items and upload the data on the storage bucket. If you can look at those API calls as well here. And then I have a front end which is basically built on a top of the TypeScript SDK that UiPath has provided. So real quick showcase you how this portal would look like. So if you log into this portal, there are 3 logins. One is for the shipper to submit the claim, then the processor, who is basically nothing but an agent who should be able to approve, reject, validate what is happening with those claims, and then we have an admin login as well. So real quick, I'll showcase you log in with the shipper account, and when you click on a shipper, ignore this check your password because I'm using a dummy password. So on this portal, you have a couple of options here. One is basically you should be able to submit the claim, right, based on your shipment information. And then you should be also able to track the status of those claims. So I'll real quick showcase you how the agent will progress and how the agent will, back populate the data which is here. So let's real quick look at one of the, the record that has been processed by the agent, which is this one. And if you click here, you should be able to see the claim data and the ship information, and also it will populate all the information and all the processing history that has happened this particular record. So if you look at here, processing get started on this particular claim, then it validates the data, it downloads the document, access the risk, validate the policy, and then it will approve with the confidence score. So this way, the shipper should be able to understand what is currently happening with this particular claim that he has submitted. So real quick, let's quickly submit a claim, and then that data will be getting populated into the queue, and then the document will be also uploaded on the UiPath orchestrator storage bucket. So I'll real quick showcase all of those to you. So for sake of simplicity, I'll create a loss claim. I'll put amount as 350. I'll say loss during transit in GA, and then I have a shipment number already handy with me, so I'll real quick post that here. It will try to search that data from data fabric, and it will automatically populate the courier name, ship date, and delivery date, and origin, and whatnot. So you can see that everything gets populated. Real quick, I'll move to the next step. And then in this step, all I need to do is put my name and then phone number, which is, I'll put my dummy number, and then I'll put my email address, which is for notifications and sending emails, and I don't need mailing. So I'll put NA, and then I'll real quick upload the BOL document for this shipment. And if you have a damages, you should be able to upload the damage evidences as well. But for this sake of simplicity, I'm trying to run with the loss one, and I have uploaded this document. You click on continue, and you should be able to, review your claims. And this claim is from PA to Chicago, and I'll quickly submit the freight claim. So what it will happen here is, you should be real quick showcase, see that, the request has arrived with claim data here, and it is trying to create a claim. So it has created the claim. It has uploaded one BOL document, which is BOL 3, subletting claim with the file references, claim updated, creating queue item created. And so it is doing a lot of stuff in the background, right? Creating a queue item, back populating the data services, and then also creating uh, files in the storage bucket, right? So once everything is done, you should be able to see the notifications on the UI saying that the claim submitted successfully, claim ID and so, and queue item in so, and you click OK. You will be redirected to the track claim page, where you should be able to see that newly created BOL BOL 003 claim here, which is this one, right? And now I'll real quick, what I'll do, I'll go into the queue, which is this queue item, and I'll showcase you the view transactions, and you should be able to see that same claim ID has appeared here as a new transactions. Other thing that we should be able to test here as well is, if we real quick go on the tenant, and if we go on the storage bucket, or so I'll go on a storage bucket from my agents folder, and then I have two folders here. One is basically storing all the documents, and one is basically storing the policies and all those for the context grounding. So in the freight claims, you should be able to see those the document that has been uploaded here. So you should be able to see that document as well. And then here you should be able to see all the policy document that is being indexed and will be utilized during the agent processing when we will be running the agent end to end. So this is how the front UI works. You submits the data from this UI, claims get submitted, file gets uploaded into the storage bucket, record is being also created into data fabric. So let me real quick showcase you the data fabric as well, and then also a storage bucket, right? So let's wait for a second, and then I'll showcase you the record which I have just submitted is also being stored into data fabric. So if you go real quick into LTL claims and click on data, you should be able to see that record here, right? With the all the records and everything is here, BOL3, and it has been created by me just a couple of seconds ago. Phone number, and if you remember, my dummy phone number and email address that I have put to, right? So this is the first part of processing, and from here the agent will take care of the every other thing that the agent has to take care. See the front end, let's look at how the backend is structured. So in the backend, we have everything designed in such a way that if you need to extend the capabilities of this, you should be able to do, because it's following the best practices for the production grade deployment. So my agents are here in the agent folder. So we have compliance validator agent, document processor agent, orchestrator agent, and the risk assessor agent. They have their configs. Then we have memory, which is a long-term memory. Then we have model, because we believe in validating everything with the pydantic models. So you have all those models here. You should be real quick look at some of those models. And then we have services, which is basically nothing but how this Python code will be coordinating and communicating with the UiPath for document understanding, for action center, for queue processing, for processing history, storage, and whatnot. So all of these services. And then I do have also another decision strategy, which basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to do LLM decision strategy, which is hybrid. And that's the reason I have upkept this, where you have to make automated decision on the basis of human plus hybrid reasoning. And that's the reason we are trying to use this decision strategy as well. And then we have this main.py, which is basically nothing but our main entry point. And in this main entry point, you should be validating the input, and you should be also validating the output. And it basically calls this, LangGraph. So in this LangGraph, we have multiple node, which is initialize, then create plan, then validate data, download document, access risk, execute progress, and a lot of other stuff. And we do have, a conditional edges where when the escalation is required, it will go to human, and human should be able to make the decision, and then it will resume because it is following the interrupt mechanism, where it will be interrupted and then it will wait for the task to be completed. So real quick, I'll showcase you some of those, mini action center tasks. If you look at here, you should be able to see some of our previous, uh, action task that is being created by the agent. It basically, pulls out all those tasks. So what I'll do is, for this, I should be able to run this agent with the help of, the agents here. You can see a lot of, the success and the failures as well, because I was trying to test this agent multiple times. And it usually takes around, so much amount of time to run this. You should be able to see the traces as well, where, the agent is calling different tools and the functions. And then you should be also able to see that, if it has failed, it is calling this, searching career informations storage buckets calling, entities calling. And if you look at the log here, you should be able to show the detailed log. And what I did, for sake of simplicity, because I am testing this, I have turned the debug on. So you will see a lot of, information here. It is very small, and it sometimes becomes very difficult to look at how the agent is progressing here. So what I'll do is, I'll real quick go to, my studio here and try to run the agent from you. And what it will do is, it will pick up the queue item, or the data, you look at here. So this was the queue item that was created with the shipment ID, and this is the same thing. Same, you can real quick validate it. So, and what I'll do is, I'll run this agent from here, so that you should be able to look at how it is actually progressing, how it is making plans, and how it is, doing the various steps in a go, right? So let's real quick, let's run this, and then see the magic, what it is going to do, right? And while it will start triggering, I'll tell you some of these, informations that you are seeing on the screen. They are, because this is running in a debug, but I wanted to showcase that how it is, planning. So it is, as of now, it's initiated with the 7 tools. You can see these prompts here, and that what it is trying to do is, now it will create a plan, right? So it's starting to creating a plan, right? And then it will create a plan. Now you should be able to see that, it has started downloading the document. Agent final response attempt to download the download. So it is taking care of the bucket data. It's taken the path, the file name, and the size, and it's trying to download here. And once this download happens, what it will do is, the document processor have downloaded one document and extracting the data from one document and processing one document with the IXP. So we do have, IXP project setup, which basically, takes care of, extracting this information from the BOL, which is pretty much a standard document. But if you real quick look at here, it trying to extract all of those information from this, BOL document. It has extracted 14 fields from that BOL document. Also real quick, once that execution has been completed, and then on the basis of the confidence score, it will move to the next step, right? So now it has moved to the next step. Now it is trying to run the risk assessor agent, which basically will try to see what is the risk for this particular claim to be approved or auto approved, right? So risk score is, 0.2, risk level is low, risk factor is high risk, claim type is loss, claim amount is 350, claim time is loss, and it will try to reason through why, analyze the risk for this so and so. And then based on the LLM calls, it will identify that this is a, loss is of low risk. Let's start validating the policies around it, whether I will be able to approve or not, or what has to be done with this particular claim. Once, this will be processed, right? So if you look at, if we can real quick look at, cannot search the there is no search claim procedures for these tools. That it is trying to search for the context grounding, which is not available in this case, but it is now searching for the carrier info and the checking policy violations. And if everything goes well, right, you can see here now it's updating claim status to approved, right? You can real quick say the status is to approved, and then it will also update the claim data entry, and then you should be also able to see some of the calls here is which is decision, right? So you can see that decision is success, claim ID is so and so, decision is approved, confidence is 0.9, reasoning this claim is for the low amount 350, which is relatively low, similar claim with the low risk and the high compliance has been approved, therefore based on the previous information historical precedence the claim is approved with a high confidence, and so which all tools has been called, there is no policy policy violations, there is a relatively low amount, low risk, what all tools has been used, and all those informations are being presented here. And it captures each steps executed by the agent in a data fabric, and that is being shown on the UI. So real quick, we'll go into the LTL processing history and we'll see the data, and you can see that the you can see that it's started processing here, it's validated the data, download, you know uh, and all those. Sorry, you can start look from here, this run, right? So it started the from here, it started processing, a step completed is validate data, download data, access risk, validate processing, and decision made approved. And if you go on a UI, you should be also able to see this the same information into the log history. So that's how this agent works, right? So real quick, you can look at it's following the react pattern, is trying to call the available tools. If it fails, it moves to the next tool because there are fallback mechanism as well. And then based on the long-term memory, then history, it is trying to approve the claims, right? And everything is being captured, recorded. So you should be able to validate whether the agent is